Welcome to the first edition of Befriend Your Mind Catch-up. Hi, my name is Kirti, the author of this newsletter, and as well as the founder of Kirtana 168, a communications boutique that supports individuals on how to express themselves in very diversified environments. Hey everyone, welcome to this month's theme. And you're probably gonna guess what I'm gonna share, right? It's about, yes, connections, networking, relationship building. December is one of those months where you are going to be invited to different events, whether it is in your organization you work with, whether it's a business event or in family gatherings. You know one thing for sure, you're going to be engaging with more people than normal. And in that month, you're also going to be asked a lot of questions about how was your year, what have you been up to, and what is going to be that famous 2024 goal that you're going to set out for. Now, if you're like me and you are a little overwhelmed by making all those decisions right away, that's okay. Why not turn it over on its head? Become friends with your mind. How do you want to treat this month? I want you to think about something. There are a couple of things to factor in. One, there is something in the air right now around the world, or at least in London, I noticed. A lot of people are feeling low energetically, but anxious is on a high. Ever since what's been happening in the news for the last 2 years, a lot of individuals are wondering, why are we going through all of this? What's happening with humanity? Asking these big questions. Furthermore, there were a lot of individuals also who were hoping to have had a goal. They wanted to have something to shift their life. They wanted to do something very different. They wanted to have certain relationships, and not being able to have them has left them feeling resigned. And I use the word resigned because it's that feeling of burning out, like an emotional numbness, and no longer caring, feeling hopeless. And whenever someone tries to pep them up, they're like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it at the moment. In that energy of resignation, it's easy to stay there and ruminate in it. Or there is also that trying to really hard to try to grab out of it. And so what do? In befriending your mind about it, it's really about letting go of judging yourself so harshly in this whole process. I know I'm not going to talk to you about being mindful or being like this or being like that. It's just giving yourself a blooming break. Just give yourself a break. And by giving yourself a break and stop trying to improve yourself, by also stop trying to try so hard, give yourself the space to just be with yourself. Grab a cup of drink, sit down, just look outside the window, take a nap. We sneeze on those things in the Western world, but they are so valuable to regain energy because our mind wants to process. Our body is exhausted from trying so hard. It just needs time to process. And living in a world where we say it's always good to be busy, 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 it can be very exhausting as well. So my invitation to you is give yourself a break this month. Even while you're networking, just gather information, share yourself, share about your thoughts, your views. Of course, you're going to always be a little more careful when you're in your professional environment. And if you're being told to be authentic and that's stressful in itself, listen more. Because when you listen, then later on, you'll know what you want to say afterwards too. When it comes to making an impression in relationships, listening is one of those skills that are really valued more than you recognize, because when you speak, you're not speaking to speak, but you have taken into consideration what someone has told you. And that makes a big difference and leaving an impact and a memory with someone else. This month's podcast guest is Debbie Williams. Now, Debbie was my inspiration to get on podcasts in the first place, and I never thought I was going to be doing this newsletter. But Debbie started podcasting for something very interesting. She wanted to share her legacy, and as a result of that, has unfolded into interviewing some really interesting guests on her podcast. I look forward to sharing our conversation with you. And if you would like to be notified about it, make sure in your podcast app you subscribe to our channel, Befriend Your Mind, so that you get the notification when it's released. And I like legacy because it's about sharing the meaning of life and also about building stronger communities. But more than that, I find that when we share our stories, we are invited to see life from a different perspective. And with today's world, the way we are engaging with it and we're feeling there's a lot of emotional sensitivity as well, it can be really hard to shift our perspective or sit in someone else's shoes and see it, despite us always telling each other to be empathic. So I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to connecting with you in our upcoming podcast. Next year, there's lots of yummy stuff coming up. One of them is there's a retreat on how to design your communications agenda. This is more than public speaking or presentations. It's about looking at why the nervousness is happening and how to make your first impression, your first minute, all matter for you by being and able to express yourself with confidence. And that is having a sense of self awareness of how you want to be in different relationships. If you want to know more, just send me a DM or comment below and saying send me information, and happy to connect with you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful December. And remember, take a break. Warm hug, Kirti.